Hello everyone, this is David from Automotive Press. I'm so sorry I haven't had a chance to upload too many videos lately because I was traveling to Europe on business and I'm just back in town, so hopefully I can catch up with many of you and begin to upload some really interesting videos about Tundra and Toyota trucks. So right off the bat, I wanted to show you a kind of a hidden or secret page within the Toyota USA website and also within the Toyota Canada website that most of you don't know about. And the reason why this is so important and critical is that this particular page is going to answer almost all of your questions to do with the configurations of the new 2022 Toyota Tundra. There has been lots of interest, of course, with the Tundra, and we are all so excited. But when you get to the website, whether in the USA website or the Canadian website, it's a bit frustrating because trying to navigate the website and figure out which options are available, which items are standard equipment, on which trims are all quite confusing. And not only that, Toyota doesn't make it easy for you to find the options at a glance. So I'm going to give you a link here in a minute, and I'm going to take you through this particular page where you can find out every single possible detail to do with the options, with the standard equipment, even the specification of the Tundra for every single model, for every single trim. And it is all on the same page, making it very easy to find. And I just don't know why Toyota doesn't put this particular page right in the front of the Tundra's website where you can find it easily, because I think it's actually the most important page. So let me take you there right now by navigating through the Toyota USA website, and I'll show you exactly what you can find. So here we are on the Toyota USA website, which is simply toyota.com. If you are in Canada, it's toyota.ca. It takes you to a similar looking website. And then you're going to navigate to trucks here, truck section, and then you click on Tundra. That's straightforward up to this point. Now here you see a whole variety of information about Tundra. They updated this page, by the way, to give you more information of the Tundra in terms of features and so forth. But we are not going into the build section. That's the part that most of you have been playing around with. But instead, I'm going to take you to another page that will give you more information at a very easy pace. So as you can notice, the website includes more information about suspension, the equipment, the frame. As you know, the Tundra now uses a boxed frame, for example. And then the specs are listed here, and lots of the highlights are listed here, but it doesn't go into a lot of details yet. And this is where things begin to get confusing if you don't find this page, because you're going to end up clicking on the build button here, and then you're going to begin to build the Tundra of your choice. But unfortunately, it doesn't give you all the spec nor the equipment at a very easy level. So instead, we're going to go to this navigation here, and you'll see the word spec. Click on that. This is sort of the secret page I was mentioning. It's not secret per se, but it's just hard to find and no one notices it. And when you get into this secret page, now you are in this full spec mode where Toyota lists every possible options and features for every single model. You can pick and choose which models to compare. So you can kind of pick three Tundra models to compare against each other. And so I've selected here limited and platinum, and actually Trd Pro spec is also now listed. So even though we don't have a pricing for that yet, we can actually compare all of the options, standard equipment, and features of, in this case, limited, platinum, and Trd Pro. Of course, you can pick other ones as well, such as SR, SR5, and 1794. So this page is the page that you really want to spend time in. You click on the plus sign to expand here each of the section, and now you can see a variety of different details that you could not see before. So they show you all of the optional features. It shows you some of the details, actually one by one. It lists everything and tells you exactly which of these features and equipment are on which model. Again, I've got selected here limited, platinum, and Trd Pro. You can choose whatever combination of three models, and it's going to give you a substantial amount of details. As an example, we have the lighting information here. Many of you guys were wondering exactly what type of LED lights are on which model, so that's all listed. It talks about the fact that you get LED tail light in the back, but premium tail lights with the sequential turn signals for the other models, and on and on. So you can see all these details that are not listed in the brochure, not listed in the normal website, but you have to go into this spec page. Interesting here, for example, you can get power running boards and bed step on the Platinum as an option. Obviously, you don't get it in the Trd Pro. So many of these questions that people were asking me about, wow, do you get this option or do you get this feature? Well, you just have to go here. You'll know exactly which one is standard, which one is optional, and which ones are not available. Here even list, for example, the badges and emblems, what color they are, and that kind of detail. It's quite intriguing. Here, let me expand the interior section here and more information. The type of fabric, or the Softex versus the leather, or the Trd Pro Softex. And they tell you exactly how many weight the power seats are, and so forth. So pretty very interesting if you keep on going here. More information about memory function, heated seats, front or back or both. Platinum, which is one I bought, that's coming in a couple of weeks, have both front and rear heated seats and ventilators, so that's really cool. Literally cool. And you get rear under seat storage, of course, for non-hybrid, but you don't get it in Trd Pro because that model only comes in a hybrid. Now we are getting into the instrument gauges, because you can get 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster for the first time in Tundra if you get a Platinum, and looks like it's also standard on the Trd Pro. And then in the case of a Platinum, there is an optional head-up display, which, by the way, is standard with a Platinum in Canada. So there are some differences between the US and Canadian model. So let's keep on scrolling down here. What else can we find? Information about the steering wheel. You get electric one in terms of the Platinum and higher ups. And you get heated steering wheel, thankfully, on most of the models, or at least it's offered as an option. And then we get regular moonroof or the panoramic roof as well. So those kind of details are shown here. And then we move into rear view mirror, because on the higher trim levels we can get digital rear view mirror. And even list the fact that there is an electronic locking fuel door, but only on the Trd Pro, which is kind of a puzzling there. Not quite sure what that is, if it's an error or if it's truly just for a Trd Pro. Now there's more information about now instrument panel and the type of shift knob we have. So that's all highlighted here in this section. And then finally the floor mats, in terms of the type of floor mat we get, that's listed under under interior. So you can keep on scrolling down here and get more and more information. You can spend hours looking at different features and options for different trim levels, and you can keep on expanding each of these sections. You'll notice that under safety, most of the safety features are shared across all models. That is, all models get all the safety features, which is really amazing thing that we have. And then you can get into the mechanical area and actually see the exact horsepower and torque for the engine. Even talks about the valve and intake and the fuel system, ignition system. Yes, there is a stop and start system for all models. And so yeah, that's kind of really intriguing how much information they give you. And then for the Trd Pro, which is a hybrid, they tell you the exact amount of the power of the motor, and talks about the drive mode, transmission, which is same for all models. And interesting enough, it lists the transmission gear here for all the models, which is basically the same regardless of which trim you buy. And then of course you can get it in either wheel drive or four-wheel demand part-time drive, as well as electronic locking rear differential for the Trd Pro or the Trd off-road package. Suspension, so here they list all of the TRD type suspension here for either the TRD off-road package or the TRD Pro. And then you can even get Aero suspension as a separate standalone option. Here's the information about the steering, which, by the way, it's all electric steering now, and then even list the turning circle diameter, which is a little bit bigger for TRD Pro. Let's keep on going here. So body and the frame information. Oh yeah, this is an interesting one. Active Aero front spoiler, which is not available on TRD Pro, but it is standard on Limited and Platinum, which again is interesting, mainly because for TRD Pro they really emphasize the off-roading capability. More off-roading stuff here, and then we can move into looking at things like a ground clearance, which, by the way, strangely enough, is a little bit less in the TRD Pro than a Limited or Platinum, which I'm not quite sure why that is. It could be an error, but it seems a little odd. Under dimension, it lists every single dimension here, from bed length to wheelbase, and you'll notice the track width, front and rear, is a little bit wider in the TRD Pro. We already knew that. Not by very much, but it is definitely wider, and it's also physically wider in terms of the truck itself. So 80.2 inches versus 81.6, but the height is the same at 78 inches. You can also see the interior dimensions, which is basically the same for all the Crew Max models here, except for the headroom. And you might wonder why. Well, that's because in TRD Pro and Platinum, the panoramic moonroof is standard, so that reduces the headroom compared to the Limited model. That's why you get a slightly less headroom. Going into the weight and capacities, you can see the actual towing capacity in pounds between all the models here, between going from Limited to Platinum. The TRD Pro is slightly different, very close. Same thing as the maximum payload, it's also slightly different. And so if you choose SR or SR5 in the drop-down menu, you can see exactly what the payload is and towing capacity there as well. Moving into the tire section, they now list the exact type of tires you get, which is another topic that many of you guys have been asking. And so you can tell which model has which size of a tire, but also which brand and the model. So you get the Falcon Wild Peak, for example, in the TRD Pro, and also the Falcon Wild Peak as well in Limited with TRD option, off-road option, I should say. And then in the case of Platinum, strangely enough, it lists the tire size, but not the tire brand. So perhaps that's not been decided yet, 100%, or they're using a couple of different versions. And then you can also click on packages. Now, this is the part that's a bit overwhelming. I'm not going to go through this right now because there's so many different packages, which are all different based on which model you pick. And so some are, again, standard equipment, some are optional, some are not available. So you might want to go through this carefully and pick the right type of packages that you want for your model. And one of the interesting things is that sometimes, depending on where you live, the different options are listed. But in this spec page, all options are listed, so you don't need to worry about the difference in terms of regions. Here's, for example, also standalone options like the premium tow mirrors. So these are kind of single options, and such as the air suspension also can be added by itself, and power. Panoramic roof is also a standalone option, and then the power running board, of course, is not available on all the models, but available on the Platinum. The warranty is the same for all of them, as you can see there. And if you scroll all the way to the top, you can see how much information has been displayed here, and you can go all the way to the top here and then change the model to keep on playing, and you can figure out which model you're interested and start comparing the exact spec and exact options or features that are available or standard on it. And this will help you make decisions on how to select the right trim, something that many of us are struggling because it gets more and more complex as time goes, because there are so many options, and the more you think about it, sometimes it's harder to decide. But play around with this page. Again, I'll put the link below. And then at some point, you can, of course, build and actually price out the model. It'll ask you for a zip code. And again, something to keep in mind is that depending on your zip code, sometimes the option packages or even availability of the trims change, because not all models or not all options and features are available at every area of the US. So that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, so that's all of the things I wanted to show you. Again, if you click on trucks here, you're supposed to be able to see the inventory, by the way, but I've noticed that it just says contact your dealer. So clearly the new Tundra is not shown as inventory here under the new section called the find your car or truck. So have fun with that, and then have fun in the build category. You can here, this is where you can pick the packages and so forth and build exactly what you want, including the dealer add-on and dealer accessories are listed. There's a bunch of them missing here though, because there's supposed to be more than 50 dealer accessories at the time of launch, but I only see about 20. So I'm not sure what the other 20 or 30 is doing. Perhaps they're not available yet. But I'm playing around here with the building of the Platinum, which is what I have purchased. It's coming in about 2 weeks time, so very excited. It's a windshield pearl Tundra Platinum with a 5.5 foot bed with all options. That's basically what I bought. And I'm really excited because I don't think other media outlets are buying the Platinum model. I think they're buying the limited model, so I can at least show you something different from the other YouTubers. So thank you so much. I'm signing off for now. A lot more information to come about Tundra. Thank you again. Take care. Bye-bye.